Millions of people were transfixed by Bird Box, a horror flick that channeled the fear of the unseen. It was only a matter of time before a sequel would appear on the horizon. Here's what we know about Bird Box Barcelona. The original Bird Box was released on Netflix in December 2018, and it proved to be an overwhelming success. As such, a sequel was announced in 2021, though information at that time was sparse. Deadline reported production of this unnamed Bird Box sequel would begin later that year, but the publication did note that the movie would be set in Spain. They also added that Bird Box was watched by 89 million households in the first month of its release, which was one of the biggest successes Netflix had at that point. Luckily, the release date of Bird Box Barcelona is July 14th, 2023. This is a little over 2 months after the trailer's release, so fans of horror and monsters won't have to wait long to get an extra dose. It's also a warning to be prepared for the inevitable deluge of memes, jokes, and spoilers, because if the sequel is anything like the original, Netflix will have another hit on its hands. Much like its predecessor, Bird Box Barcelona is all about how Earth was devastated after the appearance of unknown and mysterious entities. These beings cannot be viewed in any shape or form because seeing them causes people to lose their minds and self-destruct. In the first Bird Box, there are some who have seen the creatures live, yet their existence is marked by a frenzy to force others to do the same.
Open your eyes.
Bird Box Barcelona is set in Europe, so audiences will get a chance to see how another corner of the world deals with these unknowable monsters, and whether or not they come to the same conclusion as those in Bird Box. However, as illustrated by the original film, sometimes people can be even more dangerous than monsters. It will be interesting to see how Bird Box Barcelona brings something new to the table.
Every contact we have had with the outside has brought us death.
It will also be interesting to see if the upcoming spin-off reveals more about the monsters and the magnitude of their destruction. The early teasers suggest that the creatures have continued their conquest since we last saw them. This could indicate that this installment will be more grandiose than its predecessor. The cast of Bird Box Barcelona features some truly impressive talent. Georgina Campbell, Diego Calva, Mario Casas, Michelle Jenner, Alejandra Howard, and Leonardo Baraglia are just some of the actors who are confirmed. Audiences may recognize Campbell from her role in the horror movie Barbarian or an episode of Black Mirror. Likewise, Calva is probably best recognized these days for the film Babylon, while Casas has a whole slew of Spanish-speaking credits. According to the official synopsis of the movie, the plot centers around Sebastian and his young daughter Anna. The duo must survive in Barcelona after the creatures featured in Bird Box wreak havoc on their home. The synopsis goes on to state that the two forge an alliance with other survivors. But as they seek a sanctuary, they encounter a threat more dangerous even than the entities they flee. The first Bird Box movie is an adaptation of Josh Malderman's debut novel of the same name, which was released through Echo Press in 2014. A sequel called Mallory was released through Del Rey Books in 2020 and follows a titular character and her 2 young children as they set out to find more survivors. However, the sequel novel doesn't appear to have informed Bird Box Barcelona, nor are there currently any plans to adapt it. As it stands, the Spanish-language spin-off looks like an original story from the minds of Alex Pastor and David Pastor. Though Mallerman is credited as a writer on the film, it remains to be seen if he had any further input on the creative direction of Bird Box Barcelona. But it goes without saying that the spin-off wouldn't exist without his core ideas laying the groundwork.
Stay close. Who's there?
But maybe if Mallerman sees the movie on Netflix, it will inspire him to write more stories set in this world, which might end up inspiring their own movies someday. In an interview with Read More Co., Mallerman said that the success of the first film, coupled with seeing Bullock bring Mallory to life, inspired him to return to the Bird Box universe. So who knows what will happen if the Barcelonian spin-off is a success? The original Bird Box was directed by Susan Beer and produced by Dylan Clark, Chris Morgan, and Clayton Townsend. However, the person in the director's chair has changed. The new movie will be directed by David and Alex Pastor. Bird Box was based on the book of the same name by Josh Mallerman, and it seems as if the Pastors and Mallerman have writing credits for Bird Box Barcelona. Having the book's author contribute to the new story means that Bird Box Barcelona will stay very true to the first movie. In addition, the Pastors are probably best known for their efforts in 2009's Carriers and 2015's Selfless. Producer Dylan Clark told Deadline, "Our world has never been more interconnected. To explore the phenomenon that is Bird Box with David and Alex Pastor following people surviving in Barcelona, it's a timely opportunity to not only entertain, but also show how dependent we all are to each other." Chris Morgan made a statement as well, speaking about how the new movie will carry on the legacy of Bird Box. In our new chapter, our incredible filmmakers Alex and David Pastor are boldly expanding Bird Box in a globally connected way that only Netflix can deliver. The result is an intense, unexpected survival story with familial emotion and heart. I can't wait for audiences around the world to see the surprising mysteries that unfold on the streets of Barcelona. Of course, you can't watch Bird Box Barcelona without watching the movie that started it all. Bird Box came out in 2018 and dominated pop culture for quite a while. Starring Sandra Bullock, Bird Box focuses on Mallory Hayes and her 2 young children as they attempt to reach a sanctuary from the insanity-inducing monsters. In their travels, the Hayes family comes across allies and enemies, and it becomes immediately apparent that trust is a valuable commodity in this post-apocalyptic world. While some of the post-apocalyptic genre may focus on man-made tragedies, zombies, or world-ending wars, Bird Box instead sees humanity tearing itself apart. This self-destruction doesn't come in the form of infighting or wars, but from the madness caused by the presence of the monsters that roam the earth. Bird Box is still available on Netflix, and it's the only place you can watch both movies.
Under no circumstance are you allowed to take off your blindfold.
Bird Box was rated R for all of the things you'd expect from a tense horror thriller. Violence, blood, and even a few curse words. Beyond the standard reasons for why it earned its rating though, the themes of madness and self-harm are central to the story. It means younger audiences would likely have trouble fully understanding the deeper subtext that permeates the film. Keeping all of that in mind, it seems likely that the follow-up will have the same rating for similar reasons. Both movies deal with the same subject matter, so if anything, Bird Box Barcelona could be more intense than its predecessor, given how sequels always seem to up the stakes from the previous film. So if Bird Box wasn't suitable for kids, then the new movie will definitely be something parents should avoid. The teaser illustrates the point extremely well. At one key moment, we see people fleeing carnage or hurting themselves to the horror of onlookers. The trailer then moves to a news report from Europe, where the same devastation is spreading across that continent as well. Not exactly an ideal bedtime story. Bird Box Barcelona isn't a direct sequel to the 2018 film, but it is set in the same world as a terrifying thriller. It seems the masterminds behind the first feature want to keep expanding the world of the first movie, as well as explore how different parts of the world have been affected by the monster invasion. While the franchise's producers haven't outright confirmed plans for more Bird Box installments yet, they have certainly teased that more movies could see the light of day in the future. Producer Chris Morgan told Entertainment Weekly, "Mallory's journey was just the first chapter of this global apocalyptic event. As we were developing the original film, we often discussed what would be happening at the same time in different countries around the world. Given this information, it seems only natural that future movies in the franchise will continue to explore the devastation in other parts of the world. Perhaps one day we'll see how the monsters invaded countries like Japan, India, or China. What would a Bird Box film set in Australia look like? Could the island nation avoid the catastrophe that has fallen on the rest of the world? Our society is still dealing with the fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic. Using Bird Box as a way to explore the societal changes that emerged after the end of that event could be extremely fascinating. Furthermore, Netflix has a history of milking franchises, as evidenced by The Witcher, Blood Origin, and Berlin, a Money Heist spin-off. So we shouldn't rule out the possibility of more installments of Bird Box. The premise of the movie certainly lends itself to franchise storytelling, and there are many horror fans out there who'd love to see sequels and spin-offs come to fruition.